Hello, Care Bear here to share with you the Grinch stuffies that I have just finished for the holidays. I know it's only June and I'm busy making holiday gifts, but I have a number of people to create stuffies and gifts for, so I start early. And these are two that I just recently finished. This is the Grinch by Maria Ermolova. She is a fabulous designer for knitted toys and crocheted toys. And I've made two of these in the past, and they were so well received last holiday that I decided I definitely need to make more this year. So this Grinch is a free pattern on Ravelry by Maria, and you can see it on her website or also as you search the Ravelry site. The Grinch calls for, I think she suggests drops charisma or cascade yarn. So DK to a light worsted. You're using 3mm needles or a US 2.5. And let me tell you what I used to create these two. I was visiting in the city where my husband's family is from, and I walked by the local yarn shop, and sadly I saw a sign that they were closing. So I did take an opportunity to jump in, and I managed to get Cascade 220 as well as some Estelle worsted and this Cascade 220 Superwash yarn. Both were on sale as the shop was closing, but they were ideal colors for this Grinch. And I can give you the color for the Cascade, it's 286. And for the Estelle worsted, the color is Q61220. So I knew I could work with both of those. I used a 3mm or the US 2.5. One is a little bit heavier weight yarn, so you can see a bit in the difference that one is larger, I guess I'd say, than the other one, but just slightly. And so, but I don't care. I work with worsted or with DK weight yarns. I tend to use more of the worsted weight yarns and 3mm needles when I'm creating these stuffies. And I follow a lot of Maria's toy knit patterns. So for the green, you need about 56 grams of yarn. And then for the red, I think it was about, I'd have to check on Ravelry, I think about 17, and then 10 grams of the white. And then you also need the stuffing for these, and I use non-allergenic, anti-mold, baby safe that I buy from our local sewing and notion store. You can pick it up at, any craft shop, but I buy it in pounds because I make so many stuffies and I definitely use it up. And you'll also notice this red and white, by the way, that I used in both of these, it's the same. And it's just an acrylic yarn. I picked it up at a thrift shop when visiting a friend in a city about an hour away from myself. They have a great thrift shop. And when I can, I pick up some of the acrylic yarns that I can use for these animals. You'll also notice I'm just going to put the face really, really close. You do need to have a contrasting green as well as a black yarn for the mouth. Maria uses safety eyes. I do not. I just crochet the black using 5 chain. I crochet 5 chains and then I attach it in a circle and then I sew those down for the eyes. And I do that in all my stuffies. Just I don't bother with the safety eyes, especially when I'm giving it to the little ones. So let me tell you, I just used some black charisma that I had in my stash, because you don't even need a gram to do the eyes and the mouth. That's it. You don't need much. And same with the contrasting green. I'm using a charisma that I had in stash, and it's colorway 47, and it's the contrast to do the eyebrows as well as the nose. I'm going to put it up really, really closely. You'll also see that there's eyelids, but the eyelids as well as the hair are done in the same green. So those materials that you will need to create these characters. And let me tell you a little bit about the construction. So Maria's pattern for this is, you obviously you're making this all in parts, but you can either knit in the round or you can knit flat, and she gives the instructions for both. So you start with the head, and I believe I knit this one back and forth flat. Nothing really difficult. At one point you do have to whip stitch a number of stitches in the back, and that's just so that you can pull and shape the face a little bit more. So you knit the head and then you sew it together in the back. You don't sew it all the way up until you're ready, finished to stuff it. Then you pick up at the bottom of the head and you continue on in the green color, and for a number of rounds for the body. You can knit again the body flat or in the round, and I have done the body in the round. You do it as the number of rounds or rows that she suggests, and then you finish it at the bottom. I stuffed mine from the bottom, plus I stuff it from the back of the head, and then you close it up. So you're doing the head, you're doing the body, then you need to do the arms. The arms are also, they start from this end. I do mine in the round so I don't have anything to sew together. And you do both of those separately. And then you're doing the leg of the Grinch, which starts at the bottom, where you start by doing the foot, and then you're moving up to the top end and you close it off. She does show you all the steps necessary to do each and every one of these parts. There is a whip stitch that needs to be done at the bottom of the foot, right along where you bring it together, and then you can either knit it flat or in the round up the leg, and you close it off. Then you're attaching the arms and the legs. You're sewing it on with the big darning needles, and same with the legs. It allows them to be movable. And then you're working on the items in the face. And I think what's brilliant about Maria's patterns is that she gives you video as well as text instruction about each of these parts and how to create all the extra details. And to the point where she even tells you what the circumference of the head should be, what the length of the body should be, what the circumference of the body should be. So you get a sense if you're overstuffing it or understuffing it, and I find that really helpful. Her video instructions of how to embroider the nose, the eyebrows, how to do the hair. She gives instructions of how to embroider the mouth, and also how to do those eyelids. Everything is in the instructions, and I just play it and then I pause it and then I do whatever it is she's instructed. So I find her patterns fabulous, and I've made a number. I mean, I made the Grinch, but I've made a number of her other characters, both for the holiday season as well as just characters from the zoo or the farm that she has. And if you're somebody who likes to crochet, she's got these in crochet patterns as well. One thing that's not included in her pattern is this scarf, but I saw it looking at Maria's website, or maybe even looking at the pattern itself, the pictures. I saw that the Grinch had a scarf, and I just thought, it's kind of a nice touch to add, being that, it's winter, and winter in Canada is cold, so the scarf is kind of cute to add. So these will be gifts for family members, and I will be giving that with books. There's so many great Grinch books and about his dog Max and um, Whoville and the other characters in that story. So you can create these and then add the DVD or add books to gift with these. So these are my latest Grinch stuffies. Will I do this again? I'm gonna say, oh yeah. Um, I won't do it again, I don't think, for 2026, but these are my two gifts for this holiday season, and I'm sure going forward in the future, I'll be doing these again. So if you're into creating stuffies, check out Maria Ermolova's Ravelry site as well as her webpage. She's also known as Palishka Bunny on Instagram, and you'll see all the great patterns that you could create for your family and friends. Thanks for listening.